Hello, everyone. My name is Cyrus Waters. Welcome to another episode of Always Got Something to Say. Once again, my co-host Senor Aguas is with me. How you doing, Senor Aguas?
Yay, yay.
And we got two special guests today. Once again, we got Willie Will in the building. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me once again.
Yeah, man. Then we got our boy, music producer, sports analyst, sports commentator, E Fly. How was your flight, man?
What's up? It's good to be in a house full of dubs today.
Oh, yeah, man. We the Dub Squad for sure, man. Water Wilson connection, man. So today, we're going to talk about wrestling, man. We got 4 different people here, man. Grew up, man, different times. Let's just start off by saying who you think is the greatest, man. Who's the greatest of all time? We'll start with Willie Will, man.
The greatest of all time, man. I saw some great wrestlers. The first wrestlers I noticed was Hulk Hogan. The way he carried himself and the things he did. He had the crowd follow him, and he had a cartoon, and he had told the kids take their vitamins and stuff like that, and he was great. He fought Andre the Giant. The first person to slam Andre the Giant, the first person to beat Andre the Giant. And, he won the title 6 times. Well, altogether it's 12 because he went to WCW. But he was great. But, to me, I was going to say Ric Flair. Ric Flair's great too. But the best wrestler to me, I'm going to have to go with The Rock.
Oh, okay. All right. What about you, E-Fly? Who you got, man?
Now, my dad, he took mine. He talked about Hulk Hogan and then went to The Rock. But for me, it's the greatest of all time. To me, is The Rock. That man is beyond his measure. He's what an actual sports entertainment wrestler should be. He's 10-time world champion. He catapulted the Attitude Era like no other. So him and the likes of others. But one thing that catches me about The Rock is his capacity to control the people in the crowd. People love him for what he does, and it's just crazy how he's just one of the greatest. His mic skills is off the world, it's off the chain. The way he just flows with other wrestlers, the matches that he produced. One of the greatest rivalries ever was with Stone Cold, and so The Rock, he automatically gets my voice to go.
Yeah. What about you, Senor Aguas? Who you got?
We're talking about wrestling. We're not talking about wrestling. Now, The Rock does transcend. Now listen to me. I was at WrestleMania, I think 35. I was at Levi's Stadium, and The Rock came down, and you're right. He was electrifying. I actually felt electricity going through my veins. People chanting Rocky, Rocky, Rocky. And when he said the millions, I found myself saying, the millions. I don't even know why, because I don't even really like The Rock. I'm not really a Rock fan. In fact, you know who I like? I like Rocky Johnson, his dad, who transcended anything and everything even before Hulk Hogan. Rocky Johnson is my all-time favorite wrestler. Now, when you want to talk about people that transcended, we're talking about Ron Simmons. That's right, Ron Simmons. Ric Flair, who held him down in WCW. But I'm going Rocky Johnson, my all-time favorite and the all-time great.
Wow, yeah. I mean, that's a good argument. I mean, Rocky Johnson, he transcended, especially for African American wrestlers. Ron Simmons, once again, the first ever Black world heavyweight champion. And
Right.
Just opened the opportunity for people like The Rock, Booker T, Kofi Kingston, and even more. With that being said, though, I like how Ric Flair was brought up, Hulk Hogan was brought up. For me and Elisha, us growing up in the Attitude Era, the Monday Night Wars, we saw Hulk Hogan as a heel, NWO,
Right.
Hollywood Hogan, and it just makes me, think about the stables. You think about Ric Flair, the Four Horsemen. You think about Hollywood Hogan and the NWO. Let's switch to stables. Who do you guys think is the greatest stable of all time? Let's start with you, E-Fly.
The greatest of all time, just like you said, Cyrus, I would have to go with the NWO. it's just something about numbers. When you have numbers and the matching colors and the graffiti on the belts, that thing, it's cool. It was dope. I got to go to school and try to mimic that with my friends. Like, I would be Kevin Nash and my friends would be Scott Hall and, us where else. But the one thing about NWO is when they had numbers, they was unstoppable. You know what I'm saying? They even had Eric Bischoff. Like, you have your boss runs the program with you. You run the show. You get your own brand. You get your own, a separate program. They had their separate pay-per-view. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, that right there showed power and numbers and unity, and you couldn't stop them unless you was like Goldberg or you was a top tier guy. But other than that, you wanted to wear the colors of the white and black and the black and red. And on top of that, they transcended so much that they had different factions in WCW wanting to be, a world order. You had, the Latino world order. Then in ECW, you had Blue World Order. So it's like, and then even to now you have something called the Bullet Club, like, which all transcended from NWO. So off top for me, I know there's a lot of factions, but NWO is number one for me.
What about you, Senior Aquas?
Man, I'm going with the Nation of Domination. You see, here's the thing about all these stables, right? You get DX, right? And you get NWO. When those guys go off on their own, they're nobodies. In the Nation, the Godfather became someone, D-Lo was someone, Mark Henry was someone, and we all know y'all's favorite wrestler. The Rock came from where? The Nation. Come on, man. That's why they called it the Nation of Domination. They were so raw, they had to break them up.
Who's your favorite stable?
Well, I'm gonna have to go with DX, man. Steve said, they went on and been champion, but so did DX. Triple H was a champion. You know what I'm saying?
Wait a minute.
China was the champion. You know what I'm saying?
You mean the guy that married the boss? The guy that married the boss's daughter? That guy with the champions?
I'm talking about they broke up. When DX broke up, they all had championships. You know what I'm saying?
If we're going by that standard, though, if a stable ends and we look at the different...
No, I'm just saying, like, because when Steve said when Domination broke up, they had their belts. But
yeah, like
I said, DX is my best stable because, they was bullying everybody in the WWF. I'm gonna say WWE. I know it's WWE, but when they came out, they were very entertaining, and they make fun of all the wrestlers. Even when they came out, made fun of The Rock, and they just had charisma.
That wasn't funny.
They had charisma as even they were bad guys, but they was you love to hate them. You know what I'm saying? It was another reason why you watch wrestling, because even though they were bad guys, they were entertaining. You know what I'm saying? So, and like I said, when they all dispersed, they all had championships, including China. You know what I'm saying? So
what's stable that I feel like doesn't get props, but really just elevated after they broke up was Evolution. And I love that concept of the different generations. You had Rick in the past. Triple H was like the present. Then you have Batista and Randy Orton. And they were a stable that people didn't like at the time. There were some straight up heels beating cats down, burying people. And when they all broke up, man, they all had successful careers right after, man. So I think Evolution is in the talks of the greatest of all time. And there was like a new school version of the Four Horsemen, of course. They had the Flair that came in suits.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of good stables. We could talk about Four Horsemen paved the way, of course, and then the NWO transcended, and the Nation, DX, they were all foundational to a lot of people's careers. Now, let's talk about something that is kind of dying now, and that is the role of the manager. Back then, when I look at the 80s, even in the early 90s, managers played a huge role. Nowadays, managers is kind of like a dying aspect of professional wrestling. But if I was to ask you guys, who do you think is the greatest manager of all time? Who would you say? Let's start with you, Senior Aquas.
Hey, man, I'm always, man, going to, go outside of who I think it is. But you know what? I think Sensational Sherry. You wouldn't even think. Did you see? Did you see what she did when she was with Macho Man, Harlem Heat? Hey man, you know I like Bobby Heenan, but and man, Sherry was just raw to me, man. She put Shawn Michaels over. I mean, she was raw, man. Macho Man. She worked with a lot of good talent. She just never got her props because she was a woman.
What about you, E-Fly?
Yeah, is it him?
Like E-Fly
Yes.
having connection issues, man. What about you?
I gotta go with Paul Heyman. Oh my God, that man, his mic scare me.
Yeah, you're on now. I see you, son.
Oh yeah, I gotta go with Paul Heyman. I'm a Paul Heyman guy. Definitely a Paul Heyman fan. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh yeah. So yeah, Paul Heyman goes. For me, he goes crazy. The way he introduces Brock Lesnar. I know it's now, but the way he brought in and got Brock over was like tremendously cool. Him catapulting ECW at that time as like the spokesman and the voice for that promotion. He's like in the manager in itself, but the way he sells it, his promos, they go crazy to me. I'm definitely a Paul Heyman guy.
Yeah, Paul Heyman's kind of like a throwback. He's like probably the only pure manager right now that has the mic skills. He gives that big match feel when he's there and when he's walking alongside his client Brock Lesnar. Even when he was managing CM Punk, I thought it was all golden.
Yeah, that was super crazy.
All right, what about you, Willie Will?
Okay, see, I like people that can work the mic and work the crowd with the mic, you know, and you know, to E-Fly, you know, I didn't steal The Rock because The Rock he's great on the mic, so is Ric Flair. But at the same time, there's another manager that's great on the mic, and his name is Jim Cornette.
Oh yeah,
Wow, that's a good one.
That's the man right there.
That was,
When he come up there and he would say, "I got beautiful Bobby," and you know,
I love Jim Cornette's passion, man. When he does a promo, it feels like it's, man, this is some real stuff right now, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, his interviews on YouTube is very believable.
Yeah, so he'd be into it, man.
Yeah.
That's my all-time manager right there. You always had that tennis racket ready to club somebody with it, just in case they get out of line.
Hey, JJ Dillon was raw too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Four Horsemen, yeah.
Four Horsemen, yeah.
That was pretty good too, right there, man. All right, well, I really want to thank E-Fly and Willie Will for coming alongside the show. Always got something to say.
Thank you.
Yeah, and if you guys have any comments, any fans out there have any comments, want to share and put your input, go ahead and leave it in the comments, and you can always email us if you have more questions. Sayonara, fans.